Before I start the video, don't forget to comment which car you think is going to win this race. Also, come on, subscribe to the channel, find us on Instagram, let's do this. This is a 1978 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, and this thing came out at a time when things weren't looking so good for muscle cars.
Auto regulations had us completely surrounded. Compression ratios were dropping left and right. I can still hear the choked exhaust. It was disgusting.
Oddly enough, the quickest American production vehicle that year was a truck? Either way, I was super excited to see this car. I mean, when was the last time you actually saw an original numbers matching 78 Z28 that hadn't either A, completely rusted out, or B, been turned into a resto mod? Guys, why don't you take a seat? I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news, in 1978, this smash hit was in the Billboard Top 100. The bad news is that this car still has its original compression ratio of 8.2 to 1. So I guess today we'll see if this car can be a champion. Oh, you love my puns and you know it. The 350 cubic inch V8 featured a very mild hydraulic cam, 2-bolt mains, a Rochester carb, and also a non-functional hood scoop. And all that equates to 185 net horsepower at 4,000 RPM. That's about 225 gross horsepower, and 280 pound-feet of torque at 2,400 RPM. A 4-speed manual transmission was available in the Z28, but this one has the 3-speed automatic, that being a TH350. Interestingly, in California, you couldn't get the 4-speed with the Z28. It was automatic only. And you know what, California? I'm really trying to like you, but you're making it really difficult.
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
Rear gearing was pretty straightforward in the Z28 with an automatic transmission. It came with a 342 set, or you could get 342 gears, and 342 was also available. This car has 342 gears. That's all you could get with the automatic transmission. The first generation of the Z28 was rather lightweight. The second generation, not so much. This car's curb weight is 3,549 pounds. And even though the Z28 was a little bit chunky that year and a little bit underpowered, it did sell incredibly well. Z28 sales alone accounted for 54,907 units. I mean, this car was more popular than Zima at a 1990s sorority house. Anyone? No? Nobody remembers Zima? Alright, let's just move on. But you know what? I can understand why so many people bought this car in 1978. It was a really good deal. The Z28 started out at only $5,603, and adjusting for inflation, that's only $22,083 today. Car and Driver magazine tested one of these Z28s, and it ran the quarter mile in 16 seconds at 91.1 miles per hour. And even though our featured car is very original, the owner made a wise decision to remove the stock restrictive exhaust that all flowed through a single catalytic converter, and he instead replaced it with a dual exhaust system, which is allowed in pure stock as long as you use the original exhaust manifolds. Here's a few interesting facts for you about the Z28. Not only was the California car an automatic only, it also made 10 less horsepower, that being 175. I'm not mad at you, California. I'm just really disappointed. A T-top was available, but it was a $625 option, and that adds another 12% to the base price of the Z28 to get baked alive by the greenhouse effect and take a golden shower from Mother Nature, even in the most gentle spring rain, because those seals weren't going to last more than 5 minutes after leaving the dealer lot.
Give me a rag, Jake, hurry up!
But enough talk about this 1978 Camaro Z28. Let's check out its opponent. This is a 1967 Plymouth GTX. And no, this isn't your grandpa's Belvedere with a 318. 1967 was the first year for the GTX, and it was advertised as the gentleman's muscle car. And rightfully so, because it came packed with a 440 or a 426 Hemi. That was it. No other engine options were available. And since the 426 Hemi cost an extra $546, most people got the 440 like this car. But keep in mind, this isn't a regular 440 like they used in previous years, because this one is a Super Commando! And you guys know me. If there's one thing I love, it's going commando. We're going streaky! Yes! No, I don't mean that kind of commando, you sickos. I mean this type of commando.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
And that Super Commando makes 375 horsepower at 4,600 RPM and 480 pound-feet of torque at 3,200 RPM, all with a compression ratio of 10.1 to 1.
Feature film. Your flight attendants are Susan and Lance, and I'm Vic.
Don't disturb my friend, he's dead tired.
The default transmission included in the price of the car was a Torque Flight automatic, but a 4-speed was available at no extra cost. And as you can see, the absolutely gorgeous interior of this car houses that floor-shifted 727 automatic transmission, which is a great choice for drag racing. In the rear, like most things in life, is where things start to get a little bit sticky. Let me break this down for you. The car's equipped with an automatic transmission, had an 8 3/4 rear, and 294 gears were standard, which sucks and then shoves it right. But our featured car has been upgraded with a set of 391 gears. But where things got a little bit more sticky was in the cars equipped with a manual transmission. If you opted for the 4-speed, that 8 3/4 rear, it's gone. It's kind of like my self-respect after using so many toilet jokes. And now it's replaced with a 9 3/4 Dana 60 rear, and you could only get 355 gears with the manual transmission. As you can imagine, this car is pretty heavy. It's kind of like me after 3 months of quarantine, because it's coming in with a curb weight of 3,814 pounds. If you wanted the gentleman's muscle car, well, you were gonna have to pay for it. The convertible started out at $3,418, and adjusting for inflation, that's $26,238 today. And that's definitely not a bad deal, but it is more than the Camaro. Production was okay for the GTX during its maiden voyage in 1967, and they sold 13,690 cars, but only 680 of those were convertibles like our featured GTX. Car and Driver magazine tested a 1967 GTX, and it ran the quarter mile in 14.4 seconds at 98 miles per hour. And that is downright impressive, and it makes me a little bit jealous. You know what else makes me jealous? The owner of this GTX also owns this. And this. And also these. But enough talk about these two cars. Let's see what they can do on the drag strip.
Norm Vertage from Holland, 67 GTX 440, rag top. Tom Miller, Three Rivers, 78 Camaro, small block. On the wind like he does, 1430 to 1488 for the Camaro.
And the GTX wins this one, running the quarter mile in a very impressive 14.30 seconds at 94.82 miles per hour, but the Camaro wasn't too far behind, running a 14.88 at 92.06 miles per hour. Let's see what happens in round 2.
Tom Miller out of Three Rivers, a 78 Camaro here on the tire side, pairing up with the 67 ragtop of Norm Vertage. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, out of Holland. Vertage, the winner in the first pair. MOPAR's got more power, and it does. He's there for the win by about half a second.
And this time the Camaro ran a slightly quicker 14.84 at 92.52 miles per hour, but it wasn't enough to take down the GTX, who ran another impressive 14.33 at 95.12 miles per hour. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, find us on Instagram, and I'll see you at the next one.